Welcome back to Mass Appeal. It's time for Savings Appeal. And if this recent heat wave has your air conditioner running nonstop, don't worry. We're here to help with Laura Biddulph. She's from the Center for Ecotechnology. Laura, always a pleasure to have you here. And we were just talking during the break. My apartment during the heat wave got to 94 degrees.
Awesome.
The air conditioner got it down to 88.
Awesome.
But if we have preventative steps, maybe I won't be walking into a 94-degree apartment.
Right. Yes. Okay. So one of the things that is really common that people don't realize is they think that because they have insulation, that they should be cool in the summer, warm in the winter. Really, there's another part of this piece of puzzle, and that is an air barrier. So if you have a coat, you have an outer layer, and that helps to keep your body heat from going out. But in the summer, what we want to do is actually keep the attic heat up in the attic. Or if you have a cape, you want to keep the heat that backs up in those little side storage areas in the side storage area and not in your house.
So in other words, the jacket is a great parallel because you have the warm, fuzzy part on the inside of the jacket.
Right.
Then on the outside, you have the raincoat-like shield that protects the wind and the elements.
Slightly different for a house. We actually want the protective layer for the air part up next to the house and the fuzzy on the outside. But a friend of mine, very hot upstairs in his house, a cape, and he's got those little doors in the side that reach into storage space and an attic hatch in his closet. And so, you know, I talked to him about this and I said, you know what, let's just do something quick and easy. How often do you ever go in those spaces? And he's like, never. I never go in. So we got some of this. This is a foil-faced self-stick tape. This one is called mastic tape. It's got a really strong adhesive on the other side of it.
Oh,
it's
that's
really
heavy-duty
easy.
tape.
You just peel it apart and stick it on. And you know what we did? We taped the seam around his hatchways. And
So this way the heat's not seeping into those hatchways.
the hot air can't seep in. It completely changed the situation on the second floor of his house entirely. You can go further than that. You can also use something like this product, which is called Reflectex. It's basically like a foil-faced bubble wrap. So you could put you could staple a little layer of insulation on the other side of the hatch. If you need to get in and out of your hatch on a seldom basis, but not too often, you could look to use something called caulking, a rope caulking. And this is actually putty-like. So you can take it and you can fill the seam in, and then if you had to open that hatchway, you'd be able to pick it out. And you can reuse this, which is very cool about the putty.
So it's more like a malleable clay almost.
It's like a malleable clay. It won't mess up your paint. It won't mess up any woodwork. And you can take it off after you've stuck it in there, and if you need to open the hatch later, you can peel it open. But the point is, you've got to create that air barrier. If you want to get fancy, you can. Before you do that, you could pull your hatch down and you could put a layer of weather stripping. This is sticky on one side.
Just figured that out.
Yes, you did. Sticky on one side. You could put a layer of weather stripping against the part that sits on the lip of your hatchway. And then if you have a way to make the hatch close tightly against the foam, this will also seal out the air. But this requires a tad bit of carpentry skill, whereas anyone can stick this tape on. Anyone can stick a strip of this putty on. You just have to stop that hot air from pressing down on you and making its way inside your house.
And these are measures that you want to take to places that you don't normally access. You wouldn't want to put this on your kitchen window that you open and close every day.
No, you wouldn't want to do that. But if you've got an area that you don't go into very often and you take on a lot of summer heat, this is a great way to mitigate that. And anything that you do that reduces your summer heat also is going to keep your winter heat inside the house and not let it, because hot air wants to rise. If you have a hatchway in your house that you don't have properly sealed with a piece of insulation on the backside, it's the equivalent of knocking a basketball-sized hole in your wall.
So that's how much heat you're gaining or losing depending on
exactly
what time of year
Would
it
you
is.
want that?
No, not at all. I feel like that's what I feel like. I have many basketball-sized holes in my apartment.
You
now,
might.
aside from this, what are some general things that people can do to keep their homes cooler instead of just running that AC nonstop?
This may sound a little bit stupid, but if you've got windows that you open at night to cool your house off, don't just close them, actually latch them. The latching of the window is what pulls together the weather stripping of the window and actually creates a better seal for closing it.
Oh, and it keeps you a little bit safer, too.
It keeps you a little safer. If you've got a window that you don't need to look out of during the day, having a curtain that keeps the sunlight from coming in, because that sun shining into your house is also heating it up. So if it's not a room that you're going to be in, close the curtains during the day and don't get that solar heat gain adding to your problem on the second floor.
Now, Laura, last question. Let's talk about air conditioning. Is it something that you should keep on all day long, or should you try to set it on a timer to help reduce your energy load?
That is such a tough question. It depends a lot on whether or not your unit is properly sized for your house, whether or not you have like no shade on your home. There's a certain amount of heat that is difficult to rebound from. I'm definitely a fan of timers though, because running your air conditioner all day long is really going to jack up your electric bill. If you can just turn it on a little before you get home and take the edge off, it's definitely a better plan.
And now at Mass Save, there's so many programs and help sites to help you through this process and to make it easier, because you don't have to be paying as much for your energy as you are.
You don't.
So you just need to take little steps like this, and pretty soon your energy bill can be low and you can go splurge on something.
And the Mass Save website does also have rebates. If you're thinking about adding air conditioning to your home, you should definitely look up the Cool Smart program in Massachusetts so you can get a rebate on the unit that you put in. Their favored unit is called a ductless mini split. They're really effective and they're energy efficient.
Well, Laura, your tips are keeping us cool and much more informed and smart. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
stopping by today. And for more